back as normal. He said, they want me to switch this. They want me to stop this every hurricane and do this and do the next and fix this. But I'm calling them unto myself and they're not coming unto me. He said, I must get their attention. He said, many is looking for the water. He said, but guess what? I'm going to get their attention through sickness and death. Because they're going to know that it is me and they're going to know that they have to turn unto me and it's only me that can help them. And then he began to say to me, he said the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is about to lose their independence if they don't get it together, because they're a nation that I have called. My hand is upon them. I have chosen them. And he said if they don't get it together, they're at a point of losing the common and losing their independence. And what quickly went back into my mind was what the late Dr. Miles Monroe said, if you all could remember his prophecy. He said we're going to be at a crucial point where we either can go forward or we're going to go back and we're going to lose our independence. And when God began to talk to me yesterday and I was hearing his voice, and the prophecy that Dr. Miles Monroe said came back to me. And I began to cry. And he said to me, he said, that's not all. He said, that there is problem in the police force. He said there is problem in the police force. And he said a big switch is going to go on. And I said to him yesterday, I said, you want me to tell these people? He said, I told you to tell them. And I said to him, I said, through the whole night I was up and out and in and talking to him. And I said to him, I said, Daddy, I said, I told you that I would do what you say. I said, I will do it. And not even that. I want to say this to y'all. If something was to happen to our Prime Minister today, God forbid, was to happen, what do you think would happen? Y'all know that we're still under the Queen. What do you think would happen? The Queen is going to step in. And what we don't know is she has already stepped in to certain things. And we have to now be real with what is going on. And stop looking at it to be the way that we want it to be, because it's not. Times have changed, things have shift. And guess what? You have to now move with the shift. And in order to cover you and cover your family for the next season, you have to now get into the ark of safety. God is saying that it's time now to surrender and make your yes a yes for real and cover your lineage. Because what you do in this season is going to determine how you're going to live in the next season. And remember, there are 4 seasons to a year. And we have to be obedient. Even down to storing groceries, you need to now begin to make sure your cupboard are full. And I'm talking about storing grocery. Get the bucket and store up the rice, the sugar, the flour and stuff. Because some things is about to hit. A lot of things are now in government that is being dealt with, and they're not bringing it to the forefront. But guess what? There are some things that he wanted to do, our Prime Minister, but he couldn't do because his hands were tied. God gave him instructions. Lord, I say I'll do it. But he went according to what was said to him. But I'm going to tell you this much. What is going to change the hand of God from what is lined up to happen is when God sees his people turning back to him wholeheartedly. We could pray all we want. He does hear that, you know. But what he is saying now is plenty are praying, but they're not turning. They're not giving up the idolatry. They're idolizing. They're putting themselves over what he is saying. They're not doing things the way that he say. They're only using him as a crutch. He's not a crutch. He is the great I am. And it's time we begin to respect him and honor him as the great I am. And he's saying now it's time that the churches begin to teach the people the word. Get back in Bible study the way we grew up in Bible study. Get back into the Bible where people can ask questions and get the word in them. Because guess what? For what is coming now, for persons to stand on their own, the only way they can be able to stand on their own is if they get that word in them and they get a personal relationship with God. We saw what happened during the first step of this pandemic, because this thing going in phases. A lot of persons were in denial. A lot of persons were in depression. A lot of persons were suicidal. A lot of persons were giving up. Why? Because their foundation was not right. God is saying now to the churches, it's time now to get the people into the word. It's time now. Yes, preaching has its place, but it's time now to bring forth and call for the teachers to teach the word of God, so the people can get the word of God in them, so that they can be able to stand. Because the only thing that you can stand on is the word of God. Everything else will fall, and everything else is failing. What is going to keep the mind from suicide? The word. What is going to keep you from depression? The word. What is going to fill your cupboards? The word. What is going to feed your children? The word. God is the word. He is. That's one. And you got to get back to the foundation, because if you do not get back to the foundation, what Prophet Dr. Miles Monroe spoke about is going to fulfill if you don't turn. In Andres, we have a naval base there. I see an uproar there. It's going to come there. It's got some things happening there. An uproar is going to come there. Pray for the prison. Pray for the prison. Pray that what the enemy wants to happen don't happen. Because the enemy want not a breakout as in the escape, but a breakout in what is going on in there. That so many persons lose their lives. And I saw where prison officers didn't want to go to work because of what was going on, because they wanted to protect their family. They didn't want to go because they didn't want to get what was going on for their family, to carry it back home to their family. See, these are realities that we have to face. And we have to begin to look at these things and be honest about it. We have to deal with these things. And we have to now, guess what? We have to do it God's way. We have to drop our agenda. Drop how we think it should be, how we feel it should be, what we feel, what we think. The three things that he says that messes us up: the pride, the eyes, and the will, the flesh. We have to drop them. We have to begin to beat them under subjection. Because guess what? Souls. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to give an account to God as to what is actually going on with those souls. So we got to get people in the word of God. Because it's the word that will hold them. It's not you, not me, not I. No one can hold no one. It's the word that holds us. And we have to get in the word. All of those that wear uniforms, that are on the front line, y'all got to pray and cover them. And I could remember, it was years ago when I was in Elite, and I told them the vision that I had. And when I went to work that morning, they was telling me that I ate something bad. We all laughed it off. But to see now exactly what I saw is what's playing out now. And that was like about 4 years ago. About 4 or 5 years ago, I would say the most. But I don't think it's quite 5 years ago. And that is playing out now. When I spoke to someone from Elites about a week ago, they said to me, "Stacy, remember the dream you had when you came to work that morning?" I said, "Yes." And I want y'all to know the Queen is ready to step in. She has already stepped in with certain things, but she's ready to step in and make her presence known. What changes the heart of any man? God hold the heart of any king, queen, or anyone in their hand. He turned it whithersoever he wanted to go. And God is saying, in order for him to do the turning and to do what it is that we want him and what we're telling him, asking him to do, he's requiring our heart. He's requiring something for it. And he can keep. We know that. If one thing the Commonwealth of the Bahamas know and have seen, because that's why he brought the illustration of the children of Israel, because guess what? He kept us just like that. Look at the amount of times, and for the way we're positioned geographically, look the amount of times that he has kept us from the hurricanes and the different things. How many times the plate's supposed to shift and change and we're supposed to be devoured? He never allowed it. So guess what? We know that he is a keeper. We have seen him. But now at the end of the day, what is it that we're going to do? We can't expect for him to keep doing, and we're not doing what it is that we're required to do. It comes a point in the time where he's going to begin to collect on our promises, collect on those vows that we've made. It comes a point in time where he's going to do it. And we're at that position now, where it comes where we have to do what it is. And what it is that we need to be honest, and we need to deal with our heart, we need to deal with our thoughts, we need to deal with our soulish realm. We have all those soul ties. We need to ask him now to break them free, set us free, and do what it is, that so we can do what it is that we need to do with the right motives. And some of us have a heart to want to do things, but because we're in so much bondage spiritually that we cannot see, it pulls us back from doing what it is that we really need to do.